Hey, what's up, y'all? This is AJ.
This is Bryce.
And we are
No Filter Brothers.
And we are back for another show talking about living single.
Living single.
You know, it's a lot of people out there living single.
And it's living single in the year 2021. Still have the COVID situation going on.
No, they just single because they stubborn, don't want to change. I mean, this is so much for us to get into.
Oh, you think it's because they stubborn?
Yeah, they stubborn.
Oh, okay.
You don't like when people leave stuff in the dishes. You know, you don't like that stuff.
Can I boot into this?
No, you cannot.
So why are you single?
No, you cannot.
Okay, well, because I do have some of those issues, you know. So, but we do have one of our guests today who have been here a couple times, so we called them up because they have been single for a long time.
They haven't had peace in a long time.
Cobwebs. Echo. And so, Milton, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So, are you having any visitors tonight?
No, I'm not.
And when the last time you have had a visitor?
Oh, it's been a moment.
Okay. One moment in time. Okay, Whitney Houston.
So how long have you been single?
2 days after dirt?
Just about a decade.
A decade.
A
Wow.
decade.
And how old are you?
About as long as you.
56.
56. You're a single, black male, and you've been single for 10 years. Do you work?
Yes, I work for myself.
Okay.
You have your own
Income
car?
coming in.
Wait, you have a car?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you have a job, you have a car.
So
do you have your own apartment?
I have my own condominium.
Oh, excuse us.
So wait a minute. he has the option of car play,
right,
or a place to lay a head.
Sure. This is
Okay.
a BMW.
Okay. So, and do you consider yourself attractive?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how tall are you?
5'11".
What's your weight? True weight.
Well, my COVID weight is 200 pounds.
Okay.
5'11", 200 pounds, black male, single. You have facial hair?
Yes, I do. Comes and goes.
What kind of haircut?
None.
None. Bald?
Bald. Okay.
What's your favorite feature on you?
You gonna say exactly as me.
Oh, hell, I don't know.
Well, the last time you got a compliment, somebody said, "Hey, your blank is nice."
I'm not going to say that part.
Oh.
What do you mean? What do you mean? So, were they talking about your member?
Your butt?
Usually the backside.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Well, from the last time I saw you, I can say yes, you did have a nice backside.
But Milton is single. So why? You've been single for 10 years. Why? What happened in your last relationship?
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Right. Think back.
Oh, yeah. But that's yeah.
I mean, just giving me a general of why the relationship ended.
Or general as in, was it your fault, their fault, a mutual thing?
Well, all relationships that survive or fail are always the issue of both parties.
Okay, we're not talking about that, but in your situation,
it was the fault of both parties.
But did you feel like it was more their fault or more your fault?
No, I take ownership of mine. It was a 50-50. It was a 50-50 dysfunctionality, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, I get that because we all are. Mm-hmm. But 10 years, what's taking it so long?
Well, for a long period of time, I didn't want a relationship, and I didn't want a relationship because I needed to find and be comfortable enough with my own self first before I segue into someone else's life and someone else's segue into my life, and then I wound up repeating those issues again that caused the last relationship to fail.
So do you?
A lot of it was self-reflective and and doing the work on oneself before I would advance to the next stage.
So do you feel like you learned from the last mistakes that you had in that relationship?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's important. But 10 years is a long damn time.
It's a long time. So as you look back over those 10 years, okay, so you didn't want to have a relationship. So now are you looking to have a relationship?
I'm not looking, but I keep my options open. But ideally, I will tell you that I'm also the type of person that do best in relationships. I don't do well being single and as well as being single and dating in the gay world.
So what do you do? Name 2 things you do best when you're in a relationship.
What I do best, what I do best in a relationship is I'm pretty loyal in the relationship.
Okay.
And I've never been, let's say, probably the nurturer per se of the relationship, but that's just me. But however, in my learning, I have learned that I have to give that as well too.
Okay, that's nice. And then when you're single, what are the bad parts? Give me 2 bad parts about being single.
The bad part of being single is sometimes it's giving people the chance and the opportunity.
So you don't do that. You don't give people a chance.
I give it. Well, when I say give them a chance or an opportunity, sometimes I may be oblivious that someone may be interested and they may not say anything because I'm kind of aware enough of sometimes how I may read, and so sometimes it may intimidate people to approach. So, yeah.
So okay, so what is your idea of a mate?
My ideal mate, and this as a personality trait, is someone self-aware of themselves, someone who knows their flaws and owns them, and I also probably would say someone who has a little give and take.
Oh, okay.
So would you use those same words to describe yourself?
Yes, I would now. I would have not in the past.
Because what I find is that a lot of people are single because they want something that they're not ready to give.
Yep. You gotta, yeah, you have to learn how to balance yourself out. And you also, because you're single and you're looking for someone, a lot of people, you gotta be willing to invite those people into your life and into your world at the same time. Beyond just saying, I just want someone, but you don't want to do anything about yourself. You have to invite them in to make them feel comfortable enough that you're interested in them.
But what are some good things that you find about being single?
Sometimes I probably just say the only good thing I would say about being single is that, sometimes it allows you the ability to just call nonsense for what it is, which is complete nonsense, and that you don't have to put up with a lot of stuff that a lot of times you put up when you're dealing with in a relationship. So a lot of times I may shut things down more instantly versus inside of a relationship, you negotiate and you work it out, and sometimes you kind of keep rehashing some of those same issues.
So you single and bitchy.
I was gonna say, give us an example of what you're talking about, because it sounds like it's just bitchy, but I don't want to put words in your mouth.
You just did. I would say that I know. I'd say this to say I know what my patience level is and my tolerance level, but I also want someone to have those same sets of criteria for myself, because I probably could have the ability, to bum rush a person at the same time. So I need someone who knows how to keep somewhat of my dominance, in check as well as in balance.
Okay. Yeah. So being single in the Midwest, do you find it that more your own age is approaching you or younger?
Younger.
And how young?
Late 20s, early 30s.
So do you see them as viable candidates?
Typically, I don't, but I have to keep my options open at this point.
Now, because the age difference seems to be a problem for some people, or I should say for society. They seem to look at that as a bad thing. But in your experience, because you find more young people are more attracted to you, why do you think that is that people who are your own age bracket do not approach you?
I think a lot of times, I think young people sometimes find older people aspirational, kind of aspirational in terms of where they would like to see themselves. And then like sometimes people within your same demographic have already been there and done that. And so they're not looking for that. Or they don't see that. They typically just want somebody, but they don't want to do the negotiation of what it takes to involve yourself and to getting to know someone, dating someone, and then being in a relationship with someone.
Okay. So you're currently single, but when was the last time you went on a date?
Ooh, Jesus.
And what would be considered an ideal date for you?
Well, a date for me is not Netflix and chill.
And it is COVID season, so you can't be out and about.
Well, now you can.
Okay.
We're everything's open.
I'm strictly old school. A date for me is a standard. It's a dinner. It may be a lunch. It doesn't even have to be anything fancy. It's whatever it takes in order to be on neutral territory and people just breaking bread with each other and trying to get to know one another. And you also, in that process, got to be okay with sometimes when you're single, if you can have two single people that that are great people, but it's just not a fit. And just because we're both available, don't mean we have to be made available to each other if we're not a match.
True that.
Now, statistically, new data has shown that when people are meeting, that one thing they should not do is go out to eat, because then it becomes more of an interview type session where you're just throwing questions back and forth for each other, more so than really getting to know the person in a more comfortable environment, like going somewhere like maybe bowling or something like that, where you would not just sit there and do the interview process.
Oh, teach counselor.
Well, that's my thing. So,
however, that may be true, and I'm going to say I made this mistake several years ago, going out on a date with someone, and we went to the movie first.
Right, that's a definite no-no.
And so, in the movie, you really can't interact with one another.
No, you can't.
And so, and also too, at bowling, you could have interaction, but you can't have conversation.
Well, you can have more of a natural conversation, more so than sitting there. So what are you about that? It's more of an interview, which is not really getting to know someone. You're just answering questions.
Yeah,
so
but
if you're more comfortable atmosphere, you can actually see people's interactions.
Yep, but sometimes that's good. Sometimes the best interviewer gets the job.
And what job would you be hiring for?
What's the job?
What do you require from them?
I mean, I'm easygoing and I'm chill. I don't require a whole heck of a lot.
Well, from a sexual standpoint, what are your requirements? You want someone well endowed or a big butt? Hey everyone, this is Bryce from Filter No Filter Brothers with some information. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain the details. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more, and make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need in one spot to make a podcast. Download the free Anchor app and go to anchor.fm to get started.
No. I'm usually attracted to a person. I'm not attracted to those other attributes. because you
What-
no
what
matter
way?
Oh, that's good.
out,
Wait a minute,
because
wait a minute.
outside of the bedroom, you still have to be.
We have to stop you.
Hold
for a
on.
moment.
I got an ugly friend with a nice personality. I'm gonna send them your way.
Are you going to take them? Would you entertain them?
It has to be a personality that fits for me.
Okay, so let's
They
say
good as gold.
let's say if everything matches, but they're horrible in bed.
They're horrible at what?
In bed. Well, we can't have so much dead space. So why are you laughing? Is that a no, or is that we'll work it out?
Well,
Because you said you about the personality. So
I
what's
I-
the deal?
I did say that, and so sometimes when you test drive that car, you kind of realize it's got far more horsepower than what I'm used to. I'm gonna have to bypass.
Okay.
The maintenance bill on a European car, it'll strip you of all your funds. So no.
Okay, because statistically, and I think it's a high percentage, they say 60% of relationship does revolve around sex. I would say it's probably more 50-50, but they're still hovering around 6%. If it's not a fit as far as that avenue, it will ruin a relationship. So from you saying that you're not really looking at that, those do play a factor if someone's not good sexually as far as a mate.
Right, even physical.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that probably one of the people that I probably had the most feelings for was someone that I probably would say was not the typical guy that I typically would have physically been intimate with.
Okay,
But-
describe them.
Because I just was attracted solely to them.
But okay, so describe those characteristics if you can, please.
Those characteristics, will be one of those things. Let's say it's, now, don't get me wrong, they were great in, when we were physically together. But what I'm saying, typically for sometimes what people's energy level could be at, it was a little bit lower than what mine was at that point in time in my life. And so, yeah. But however, I was so attracted to them that really was minute in my relationship with them.
Now, are you currently on any of the dating apps?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And
No luck.
No,
so what do you typically find on the apps? Do you find what we would call just regular trade, or no one who's just even remotely qualified for you?
Well, I probably just typical regular guys. And of course, my face is visible on my dating apps. So, and if it's
is it a professional picture, or do you just did it yourself?
No, it's a picture of myself. I don't have professional photographs.
We know somebody.
We know someone who can get you one, because that plays a big factor if you have the right lighting these days.
Right. At least you don't have your booty on it. Because some people do have their stuff on there.
Yeah, they do.
The front and the back.
But that may be their best feature.
The only problem sometimes with those professional photographs is when you show up at that dinner date, they look nothing like that professional photograph.
Have you ever had that happen to you?
Yes, I have several times.
Oh, wow.
And you did what?
Well, one, I just did a U-turn in the parking lot and kept driving off.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you
have
talk
to
to them afterwards and tell them that they lied to you?
We didn't even need to have we didn't need to have a conversation.
I do the same thing.
Wow. Okay, so Tone, you had someone catfish you too?
My name is Lowe.
Tone Lowe.
They didn't well, I wouldn't really call it a catfish, but I met someone, and we met at the what's that mall?
That's why they catfished you, because of that right there.
What's that mall downtown? We should be downtown. Tire place.
Oh, that was
a long time ago. That was more than a decade.
That was
The picture they sent me, and the picture they sent me, and what I seen was when I was walking towards them, sitting in the area I told them to sit at, was totally different. So I just like ducked, went back around, hopped in my car, and left.
It's hard being single.
It's difficult.
And I've also had the occasion, and that particular one was based on their appearance and looks. But I've also had those who've straight out lied about their age as well too.
Did they say they were older or younger?
They said they were younger, but what one should do if you're going to lie about your age, you should be at least passable for the age that you're lying about.
Okay.
And they were not.
Okay.
They were.
Now,
they were 15 to 20 years older, and they looked that 15 and 20 years older.
Wow. Because I have to say, I actually had one encounter where I was talking to someone for a while, and we finally decided to meet. And when I met them, and they were not what I visualized in my head, even though I seen a picture, they didn't take the time to present themselves in the best way.
You know what? Y'all so hung up on physical stuff. Get off of it.
No, I don't think it was that.
That's why y'all behind single now.
And
we're so hung up on what?
Market.
That's why y'all single now. Y'all physical.
And why are you single now?
I'm not.
Oh, okay. It's complicated. So I think that plays a part of that. People have to realize that people are attracted to stuff. First, the physical appearance, and then they get to know someone.
But also too, I think people now for the age part, I kind of understand it. I'm not saying I agree with it. People older lie about their age because they don't want to be dismissed. But however, there are still people within everybody's age bracket that's looking for somebody within their age bracket.
So I have a question. Where do you find your kind of your companionship? Where do you get that from? Since you don't have a partner.
Well, if I can find that too, that'll be nice.
So
he found his companionship with Lefty and Right.
Oh,
with what?
Our producer had a recommendation that you use your 5 fingers.
Well, man, God said man should not live by bread alone.
Okay, so where do you hang out? Where do you get your social outlets from? Because since you're single, it's not like you're going on consistent dates or you're with somebody. So where do you find that companionship?
I'll still do the some of the things that most people do. I'll still attend concerts. I'll still do the theater. I'll still hang out with a group of friends, and do, a dinner, or maybe a bar or a club or something to that effect. Yeah.
Do you frequent the church for a pickup spot?
No, but I probably should.
Oh, okay. Because they're saying that is definitely a spot to catch a man.
Well, that's always was the way, for single women. So, but yeah. But then also too, it's also being at, the particular church too.
Oh, that's a whole different.
That's a whole nother show. We got.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So you're open for a relationship if it comes. At this point.
Yes.
Now,
what are the top 3 things you're looking for, and that you expect a guy to come to or have?
I definitely expect a guy to be honest. I expect him to be independent, and I expect him to be consistent.
What if a guy is only like 80% honest?
Well, then I can't help that. I mean, my skill set is very, very good, but I'm not God. I can't, if I'm dealing with a liar, I can't deal with a liar.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So living single, you're ready.
And part of the reason I can't deal with the liar because I don't do very good at lying.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So what do you see for the future? You see more years of being single, or
I like Jesse Jackson. I'm just keeping hope alive.
Okay. Now, would you be?
I'm not going to give up. I'm always going to be optimistic about it.
Okay. So I'm asking people now because Filter No Filter may be sponsoring a speed dating event. Would you be interested in participating in that?
Of course, yes.
Okay. All right.
You never know who you're going to meet and where you're going to meet them.
Well, then the other idea we was going to sponsor a cabin trip. Would you be open for that?
Well, we'd have to get the criteria on cabin trips.
Well, you would be assigned. It would be you and one other person in a room, and we just be randomly assigned to who's going to be in there.
And it changes every night.
It changes every night.
Oh, well, that may be difficult.
Why would that be difficult for you?
because so that may be part of my needing to know data. It will be hard for me not to know exactly what the actual plans are. I can go with the flow pretty good, but sleeping in dormitories with folks I don't know, now becomes different for me.
Well, that's how they do in jail.
Right. Didn't
you do some time?
But thanks for sharing that information because I've never been in jail. But how long was your stint?
Just checking.
That was a different number.
Okay.
Okay. we thought we had some information crossed. Sorry, it was our producer who gave us that information.
So living single, nowadays there is some hope at the end of the tunnel. There is
now. Before we close this out though, because our thing is living single. Which character would you mostly resemble in the sitcom Living Single? Are you more of the Golden Girls now?
I'm just saying Golden Girls.
So are you living single? Or are you Golden Girls?
That's pretty funny. That's a good question. We're going to ask all of our listeners, are you living single or are you a Golden Girl? That's a great question.
I most definitely am living single still.
Okay.
Which character?
However, if I was the Golden Girls, I wouldn't be Blanche. And I wouldn't be Dorothy.
You would be Dorothy?
So I would probably be Rose. At least Rose had a consistent man.
Oh, okay.
She couldn't keep him.
Okay, there go Blanche right there.
So, Milton, we want to thank you for taking some time out to talk about your experience living single in the Midwest. This is just the first part of our series. We're going to have a couple of these episodes on living single with people in the area, and look out for our Filter No Filter speed dating event coming up.
Right. Also mentioned about the love languages.
You just did that. We're going to be having the love languages coming up too. We were trying to get that during the month of February, but here in the Midwest, we had a lot of snow, bad weather, so we weren't able to get our podcast out. So,
well, love is important all year.
It is.
So
I don't know why they just think it's February.
February.
Just like Black History is 365 days a year.
Right.
So
365 days, Black.
Right. So thank you again, and this is
Filter
No Filter.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is AJ.
This is Bryce.
And you can find us on multiple platforms: Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Audible.
You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We have a new phone number, 513-401-5715, and our email is filternofilterbrothers@gmail.com.
So download, listen, like, and share.